You are probably like everybody else who, at some point, has been in a situation with somebody where somebody talks to you in a way that makes you feel small and put in your place. They make you feel scolded being in a situation where somebody talks to you in a way that is sharp and makes you feel like you are being talked down to. So, this video is for anyone who has been in a situation like that, or maybe in a situation recently that's really making you feel upset and you're carrying it with you. Maybe even you're kind of obsessing about it or stewing over it. You can't stop thinking about it. You think about the way that person talked to you, their tone of voice. Maybe you think about the specific words that they used with you. And in this situation, you may have felt like they cut you down to size. They made you feel little. They may have made you feel insignificant or incompetent. When they spoke to you this way in these sharp words, these corrective words, as if, why didn't you get it? As if, why are they even having to explain it to you? As if you are being blamed like you should have known. When somebody does this to you, you can actually make yourself feel better and more in control of your own emotional reaction by asking yourself four simple questions. Okay. So these are four questions that you can pull out when another adult with you makes you feel this way to prevent yourself from taking that issue and carrying it with you for the rest of the day, maybe even a couple of days, because you're so upset and you're thinking, nobody talks to me that way. I don't like when somebody talks to me that way. It makes me feel so shut down and stupid. These are four questions that can help to give you some perspective. And also, ultimately, I believe you'll see a little bit of a sense of comfort. Okay. Here's the first question. Has this individual ever spoken that way to you before? If this individual has spoken that way to you before, well, you've got a pattern of behavior. And this is something that you have seen before and dealt with. And so it's actually not something new. It's just more of the same. This is somebody who was being inappropriate and unkind and maybe even borderline cruel. And you've seen this before. That's something important to remember. If, on the other hand, they have not engaged in this behavior with you before, they have never spoken to you that way before, never made you feel like you're being put in your place, scolded like a little child, or talked down to. If they've never done that before, then the answer is no, they haven't. Okay, so this is new. Next, we go on to the next question. Have you ever seen or heard about them engaging in this kind of behavior with anyone else? Have you ever seen or heard about them talking this way to someone else, putting them down, putting them in their place, reprimanding them in a sharp way when it didn't need to be done that way? Have you ever seen or heard about this happening with anyone else? Okay. Now, I am going to say the answer a lot of times for many people asking themselves these four questions is going to be yes. But maybe it's no. Keep that in mind. Hold that in your back pocket. The next question to ask yourself, question three, is this behavior, them talking down to you, do you see this as just a part of their general personality, who they are? Does this seem to fit with you about their general persona, who they are when they walk in a room, who they are when they operate in a group of people, the way they come across? Is this something that kind of fits with how you would say their general personality tends to work? Is this somebody, for example, who always tends to need to be in control or always kind of needs to be the smartest person in the room? Is this fitting with their general personality? Or, on the other hand, is this completely out of character, them putting you in your place and talking down to you? And then finally, after you have asked yourself those previous 3 questions and you have been honest with yourself about the answers, the final question to ask yourself is this one: are you really surprised? So they talked down to you, they put you in your place, they made you feel reprimanded and scolded like a little bad boy or little bad girl. And that made you feel probably pretty badly. Are you surprised that they did this with you? When you look at your answers to the previous 3 questions, are you sure you're really surprised? And the reason that I end with that question, are you really truly surprised, is because a lot of times we can feel on an emotional level surprised by somebody's inappropriate behavior. We can get caught in the feeling of feeling surprised, like they should have acted differently. But actually, a lot of times when somebody mistreats you in this way, it is actually a part of a much broader pattern of how they may continue to be with you in the future, maybe how they've been with you in the past, how they certainly have probably been with other people too. This is a way that they have learned to operate. And so, if you look honestly at the answers to those questions, when you ask yourself, what I think is that expression people use, you've got this, I would switch it to say, you know this. A lot of times we know things in our gut where, if we're really honest with ourselves, actually, we're not surprised by it. So we know a lot of times deep down that someone's behavior that upsets us falls into a pattern of a much bigger problematic personality pattern that this individual engages in just across the board. That it is not personal, that it is not specific to you, that this is probably not an isolated incident with you. Now, what you've got to do going forward is remember to hold on to that insight if there's a next time when this person makes you feel that same way. Remember, you know this. And ultimately, you need to ask yourself if this is a voluntary relationship, if this relationship is good for you. If being in a relationship with someone who can make you feel at a moment's notice small or scolded or reprimanded, like you've been bad, like you're stupid or incompetent, you've got to ask yourself if this relationship is good for you. And if it's not, you can ask yourself, well, what are some ways that I can protect myself emotionally so that I feel like I have some sense of emotional safety and I can protect myself with this person where I don't give them the power to make me feel that way, so that you can say to yourself, I know who I am dealing with. I am dealing with somebody who doesn't, as a rule, treat people consistently well. I am dealing with somebody who treats people based on a hierarchical system. You can say to yourself, I am dealing with somebody who must always be at the top of a totem pole and inevitably will end up making me feel lower than them. And they may succeed in making me feel worse if I am not careful, if I am not disciplined about managing my emotions and knowing who I am in conversation with in this situation. I'm Dr. Seth, psychologist.